We're surrounded by AI that seems, well, magical, right? It feels like it actually understands our world. But underneath that incredibly impressive surface, there's a massive, hidden flaw, a fundamental inability to grasp the one thing that rules our lives, time itself.
And hey, it's easy to see why we're so convinced. We see AI doing things we thought were uniquely human. I mean, it can write a killer essay, it can drive a car through traffic, and it can even try to predict the stock market. It mimics understanding so well that we've started to think it's the real deal.
But here's the really uncomfortable truth. Today's most powerful AI systems are what you could call time blind. They are absolute masters at spotting what happens together, but they have zero, and I mean zero, comprehension of why one thing leads to another. The simple ideas of before and after, totally foreign to them.
And let's be clear, this isn't some little software bug that can be patched in the next update. Oh no. It is a fundamental design flaw, baked right into the very architecture of how these AIs are built. It's a limitation at their absolute core. The implications of this are just enormous. In fact, a lot of experts believe that solving this time blindness isn't just another challenge. It might be the single biggest obstacle standing between the AI we have today and the true general intelligence we keep hearing about.
So, how in the world did we get here? Well, it all comes down to how AI learns and why its way of seeing connections is a million miles away from actual understanding. This is all about the classic mix-up between correlation and genuine comprehension.
Okay, so modern AI, especially these big language models, are trained by being fed just an unbelievable amount of data, basically the entire internet. And from all that chaos, they learn one simple but powerful pattern. When you see A, B is probably going to show up nearby. That's pretty much it. It's pattern matching on a planetary scale. Now, this statistical relationship has a name: correlation. It's just noticing that two things tend to change together. But and this is the most important part, correlation is not the same as causation. Just because two things happen around the same time does not mean one caused the other.
Let's use a classic example to really hammer this home. An AI sifts through city data and sees a really strong connection. As ice cream sales shoot up, so do drowning incidents. So the AI thinks, aha, these two are linked. But we humans know the real story, right? We understand the hidden cause: summer heat. Hot weather makes people crave ice cream, and it also makes more people go swimming, which sadly leads to more drownings. The AI only sees the what. We understand the why. So what the AI is really doing is just memorizing a gigantic library of coincidences. And it feels incredibly smart when it runs into patterns it's seen before. But the second something genuinely new happens, something that wasn't in its training data, that illusion of intelligence just completely shatters.
But, the problem goes even deeper than that. It's not just that AI doesn't get cause and effect. It's that it has no concept of time passing at all. It basically lives in this bizarre, permanent, eternal present.
Think about it. When you give a prompt to an LLM, it doesn't think like we do. It runs a massive calculation to find the single most statistically probable next word. Then it just sticks that word onto the end of the prompt and does the exact same calculation all over again and again. It's a stateless, repetitive loop with no real memory of the past or any thought for the future beyond that one next.
So for an AI, reality isn't a flowing story, right? It's not this continuous river moving from past to present to future. No, it's just a single frozen snapshot of data. It processes that snapshot to give you an output, but it never, ever experiences the flow of events that connects one moment to the next.
And this complete lack of a sense of time is exactly why AI is so bad at some of the most important parts of intelligence. I mean, how can you possibly do long-term planning if you don't even have a concept of later? How can you predict unexpected consequences if you don't understand that actions cause reactions down the line? You can't. It just reacts. It doesn't reason through time. So this all might sound a little bit abstract, but the consequences are incredibly practical and frankly pretty dangerous. When these time-blind systems get moved out of their nice, clean simulations and into our messy, unpredictable world, well, that's when things really start to break. Just think about two huge examples. A self-driving car can be trained on millions of pictures of accidents in the rain. It'll learn a correlation. Rain and accidents show up together a lot. But what it really needs to know is that rain causes roads to become slippery, which requires a fundamental change in how it drives. Or an economic model.
It needs to understand that raising interest rates causes people to spend less, not just that the two numbers on a chart happen to move together.
And this is exactly why we see this crazy contrast. In the clean, predictable world of a simulation, where all the rules are laid out, an AI can perform like a superhero. But in the real world, where things are constantly changing in ways that break all those old patterns, the very same systems can fail, and fail spectacularly, often without any warning. The world isn't static, but AI is built as if it is.
Okay, so let's flip this around and look at the alternative, us. The human brain is fundamentally different. We are, for all intents and purposes, biological time machines. We've evolved specifically to understand and navigate this river of cause and effect.
Our learning is all about experience and consequence. It's a simple, powerful feedback loop. As a kid, you might touch a hot stove once. You immediately feel the consequence: pain. Your brain doesn't just log a correlation. It forges a powerful, unforgettable causal link. Fire causes pain, and that creates an internal model of the world that lets you predict the future. This amazing ability to build an internal simulation of reality, to ask, what happens if I do this? That's the magic trick that's missing from today's AI. And in the research world, this challenge has a name. Top labs like DeepMind and MIT call it the world model problem, and it's one of the absolute biggest frontiers in the field. Now, the good news is, the smartest people in AI are acutely aware of this massive gap. And that brings us to the race to fix time-blind AI. This is where the really exciting, cutting-edge stuff is happening right now. Researchers are exploring all kinds of fascinating ideas. They're trying to build those world models we just talked about, AIs that can actually simulate what might happen next. They're developing systems that learn from specific events, not just giant piles of static data. They're designing AIs with actual memory. And maybe most important of all, they're creating embodied AI, robots that can physically interact with the world and learn from consequences, just like we do. And this really reframes the whole challenge of creating so-called artificial general intelligence, or AGI. The reason we don't have it yet probably isn't because our models aren't big enough or fast enough. True intelligence doesn't just fail because it's not smart enough. It fails because it doesn't understand time. This whole thing forces us to really step back and ask what we even mean by intelligence. AI's current superpower is language. It can talk like us with incredible fluency. But real intelligence, the kind we have, is about something so much deeper. It's about understanding cause, consequence, and time. Until machines can learn that fundamental lesson, they'll always just be reacting to a ghost of the past, not truly understanding or shaping the future. And that leaves us with one final and really critical question to think about. If an AI is fundamentally blind to time and consequence, should we ever trust it to make decisions that will shape our future?